And welcome back in to the Golf Intervention Podcast. We're so glad you're joining us tonight for this quick question episode. And this one is a doozy. So I'm just going to read it to Rob Fales. I think we'll both have our opinions on this. It'll be really, really fun. So this one comes from John in Toronto, which is kind of a cool place to get a question from. We do have lots of listeners in Canada. So if you're one of those, thanks for tuning in. This question says, boys, what makes Scottie Scheffler so good? And is there anything that a hacker like myself can learn from him? What a great question. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Canadians have great questions. It's really good.
Great question.
So I will say that Scottie Scheffler obviously is on this run. I am old enough. I'm not sure Robbie is old enough to have been like through the height of Tiger Mania. I was in college. I'm 4 years, I think I'm 3 or 4 years younger than Tiger. I was in college studying golf management, right? While Tiger is like in the 2001, 2002, and then I'm golf pro in 2004, 2000. Like that run was unbelievable. And I'm not saying Scotty's on that type of run yet, but you can see it. It's building, right? I mean, it's pretty fabulous. Nobody, I don't think, ever played golf like Tiger did. The height of that peak dominance was unbelievable. And I don't think Scotty's quite there. But good gracious, this guy is every week. It's so good. What makes him so good? This is it. I can't wait to hear your answer to this question. I will say, I wish I had some more insider information. I really don't. But I learned last week, this is kind of an interesting tidbit, that my brother's father-in-law, who's a lawyer in Dallas and was president of the Royal Oaks Country Club where the Schefflers, Scotty grew up, actually was the one that basically introduced Scotty's parents and Scotty as a young man to Randy Smith as coach. How about that? And then sponsored them to join Royal Oaks Country Club. And so he was a great guy, passionate golfer, great lawyer in Dallas, and he's unfortunately has passed away very tragically, but he was great friends with Randy Smith. And if you don't know who Randy Smith is, Randy Smith has to be, in my opinion, has to be considered the preeminent developer of golfers in our generation. Now, there's great coaches who teach people, they come, Butch Harmon got Tiger when he was in college or whatever. But Randy Smith has literally raised at one country club from like junior golfer to tour player, multiple major champions. Justin Leonard was like his first, Scottie Scheffler, obviously, and then a bunch of others, like a bunch. I don't know how many there are, 10 or 12 or 13, like tour players that he's, raised from the ground up. And Randy Smith is just a brilliant instructor and coach. And so, I think first thing to learn from Scottie Scheffler is find a great coach and stick with them, right? Scotty is not changing his coach like he's changing his shirt like some of these guys do. And I will say that sometimes you can look at a coach-player relationship and wonder, would they be better if they moved on? And we're not in the middle of any of that story, so we can't really make that assertion. But obviously, Scotty has just continued to get better and better and better and better. Why would you move on from that? So I think my first point of contention with Scottie Scheffler that any golfer could learn: find a great coach and stick with them. What do you think, Rob?
Totally. So one thing that always does come out in Scotty's interviews is that idea of decoupling self and craft, right? So he says it ad nauseum. It's like, this tournament didn't define me. Like, he just won the Masters, but he's in front of the entire media room saying, this tournament, this win does not define who I am. And I just thought that was so powerful when he did that. And it just reinforces the idea that he is not out there playing with his identity on the line. He's out there playing golf. And that's it.
Yeah.
He's just playing the game. A lot of other people who he's competing with are not just playing golf. They're multitasking with other stuff, and maybe not during the whole round, but I think Scotty is the most on time and on task of any golfer that's playing right now. And I'll tell you, it's his mindset of really prioritizing the things that are relevant to the shot at hand, and pretty much nothing else.
I think if you even delve deeper into that, his spirituality is probably his most important thing he talks about in his life. I mean, he's pretty straightforward about that. Second of all,
Yeah.
So it's probably faith and family and golf in that order for Scotty, right? He's not distracted.
Yes.
He's not distracted by social media. He has 0 social media accounts, 0. And so again, what does his brand or his image have to do with how he plays? Nothing, right? Nothing.
Correct.
And it's so interesting. If you look at all the things he does, look at his swing. You can look at it. I think there's players that are vain enough. They would look at his footwork or whatever he does and think, oh, that swing, I got to make a swing that, quote unquote, looks better than that because of vanity, right? Scotty, when he works the ball right to left off the tee, it looks a little, what you might say, awkward in a way. Like he's learned how to make the ball go right to left off the tee, but it's a little bit of a awkward follow through, almost like an Arnold Palmer type of swing. He doesn't care one bit in the world because it's not relevant what it looks like. What's relevant is him striping that ball down the middle of the fairway, which he does wonderfully. So again, it's like, to your point, always being able to have that mindset of like, this is what matters. This is all I care about. This is what I'm doing.
That's it.
And that's it. And we just heard a story. We were just interviewed on a podcast, which is pretty cool, which will be coming out, I guess, in a few weeks. But they were talking about playing with somebody who kept saying, this isn't the right shot. I'm not hitting the right shot. I'm supposed to hit the right shot from here or whatever. It was like, someone who's terrible at golf and like couldn't chip it. But they said, I'm going to try to chip it because it's the right thing to do. Do you think Scottie Scheffler ever had a thought like that in his mind? Ever?
No.
Never, right? That's not how he's wired.
Yes.
So it goes back to growth mindset. I'm sure Scottie Scheffler has never studied growth mindset. He's been raised really well, coached really well. He's probably wired really well, I'm sure, right? Like there is some wiring that's like nature in there. But it's amazing to kind of watch him consistently stay with what he's doing time after time after time. He's not looking for answers. He's not changing his swing for it to look better. He's not, he's just so good. And Jordan Spieth, I think, was marveling at his club face control. Now, Jordan Spieth uses the term club face control a lot, which I think is interesting. You and I don't use the term control with the club face very often.
Control, yeah. I love that.
But Jordan kept saying his club face control is outstanding. It's the best I've ever seen. So I think that it's what do you think about that quote, Rob? What would you say about Scotty and his club face?
No, I think it is easily the most predictable, right? He's producing his intent or around it the most predictably of anyone on tour. And it's probably not even close, honestly. I mean, it is elite, like Jordan said. It is maybe the best that we've seen since. I'm having a hard time thinking of a player whose dispersion is more insane than Scotty's.
And especially as far as he hits it, right? So he's like,
yes,
first. He's not first in strokes gained off the tee, but he's high, right? And he's one of the 10 longest, or probably not even one of the 20 longest players, but he's probably in the top 20 to 30, I would say. So he doesn't hit it short by any means. But his accuracy off the tee is outrageously good. And then he is number one in strokes gained, I think, approach shot. His one that's not like great is bunkers, which is kind of funny. But his putting this year, top 15. He's 15th in strokes gained putting, which is actually kind of frightening. And again,
RIP to the rest of the league.
So here you go though, right? So you talk about growth mindset because there's a delicate balance here, right? There's a delicate balance in growth mindset. Scottie Scheffler wins, what did he win? 9 times in a gold medal last year? Something like that. Maybe 10 times in a gold medal. I can't remember how that all played out, but it was a lot. And what does he do? He changes his grip on his putting, right? He goes to the, whatever I call it, the claw grip. I guess the traditional term is the claw grip, right? The inverted right hand grip. Yeah. And it sort of made it we saw it first at Tigers tournament in December, like in that silly season I'm at in December. And it was like, wow, Scotty just won 10 times and he and a gold medal, and he's changing his putting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's probably no one I would trust more to understand what they could gain out of their putting from 20 feet and in than Scottie Scheffler, and do it in a way that was extremely thoughtful, extremely probably data oriented. Like he probably really knew where his weaknesses are. He probably understood his control of the start line, things that just weren't quite right with the traditional grip. So he goes to the inverted grip, and I mean, he wasn't great at putting last year, right? 2 years ago, not great. And he didn't win a bunch, but everybody's like, hey, if he was just average at putting, he would win every week. Last year, he's basically average at putting, and he won every week. Now he's top 15 in putting, and he's winning just by bigger margins, right? Like he won by 4. Yeah. It was like a ho-hum kind of thing. So what can we learn from that? What can we learn from Scottie Scheffler going after a little bit? I think it's just that that dedication to continuously improving a skill, which I'm sure whatever that skill is, maybe it's start line control. I don't know what he's better at. I don't know. He could probably tell you, but I've never heard him talk about it.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, it was well defined. He knew what he was going after.
Yep.
And he knew that this may be the thing that did it. He gave it a try. It worked. Awesome. Right? So that's different than trying something new every day. Right? That's a different story. So growth mindset is not trying something new every day, but it is being open to trying to improve through the right processes, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So, try through it. Scotty, what else about Scotty do you think, Rob, that makes him great that we can learn as normal golfers in the world?
I mean, I say this, and this is just my preference, but strong preference, but his rhythm is incredibly consistent, like all the way through the bag, from driver to iron to wedges. I mean, if you just look at the time of the swing itself and the ratio of time, it's so consistent. It's incredible. Like, it just doesn't really change in any sort of situation. You never see him really speeding up. You never see him really slowing down. He's just always kind of just doing what he's doing. Incredibly consistently. So again, some things do need to be consistent, right? We don't love the word consistency, but I think the way he holds it, right? He's got this molded grip that he's used for forever. And he's just keeping the thing that probably should be consistent, really consistent. I don't see his posture really changing much. I don't see his rhythm really changing much. All really consistent. Now the geometry changes wildly for the shot that he's playing. He's playing a big draw, like you said, like geometry stuff definitely changes, but the drumbeat of his swing does not. And I really enjoy seeing that with him.
You would have to imagine that he and Randy Smith worked a lot on things like routine, right? Because just trying to get things consistent day to day, swing to swing, and also skill training, right? Because a lot of people would have coached out some of that stuff with Scotty, but I think that Randy Smith is probably really good at watching the ball go exactly where a player wants to hit it. Yep. Not saying I'm not going to change the blueprint of that, right? So if he can repeat that and control that and learn to have some skill with that, I'm going to be totally fine. And so that, I think that we can definitely learn from. I will tell you that, going back to the rhythm piece, I don't watch a lot of golf on TV, especially don't watch YouTube golf, but Scotty actually did a YouTube golf thing, which seems pretty out of character for him, but it was like a couple months ago with Grant Horvath or Green Horvath.
Yeah.
And they played at Royal Oaks, and I mean, you can just see it. And Scotty was a little rusty that day. He was like, yeah, it was just 4 days at the beach, and I'm, just kind of running out on the course kind of thing. And, but you can see like that round, like it's a different deal because you see every single shot. He's talking you through every single shot. And, yeah, I mean, the consistency of what he does rhythm wise with his swing is just insane. It's just insane.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And so I think that would be another good thing that a listener could take away. Just a consistency and training the rhythm and working on the rhythm and being there present. Like you said, you have to be present on the golf course to make that happen, or you're going to be.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, I think that's another one. I think that those are probably the big keys there, like learning the processes. Like, what is it that not from his swing or not from his, don't copy his grip. Your grip's going to be your grip and his grip's going to be his grip. It's not about that. It's about like, what does he do in his process that makes him, I think it really, like you said, it starts with that whole like hierarchy of what's important to him, right?
I mean, you'd be hard pressed to say that he doesn't probably read lies, slopes, and winds as well as anyone out there. I mean, obviously Ted Scott's a big part of that, right? So, I mean, Ted's giving him really good reads on the lies, giving him really good reads on wind and slope. And so we can't discount that, right? So we don't always have a caddy walking with us. And I mean, he's got the best probably, I would say.
He does credit him in that video with keeping him basically present. I don't think he uses the word present, but he says Ted Scott is really good about just being like, all right, Scotty, let's let's just focus on this next shot and you can do that. You got this. Like, he's just like, and you can see Scotty's career trajectory completely change when he started. And now he was very young. He's only 28 years old. Like, that's crazy, right? But he was a year or two on the tour and doing okay, but he wasn't. Like, the first time I think I ever heard of him was he made that Ryder Cup team. And I don't watch tons of golf. He made that Ryder Cup team. He beat John Rahm or somebody in singles. Was it John? I think it was John Rahm, who was like really hot at the time. Like, he was clearly the best player in the world. And they put Scotty out in the singles match against him and he beat him. And I was like, okay, what's that guy's name? Scheffler. Kind of cool. My brother had been talking about, but he's a fanatic on the tour, and they love Scotty, right? Because he's like family friend. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really stands out about Scotty that I think it's just repeating his processes. Maybe get a molded grip trainer that feels really good to you in your bag so you can work on your grip. I don't know how he does that, but hire a great coach for sure and stick with him. And have your priorities straight. I mean, I think that's really straight. I mean, I'm not sitting here as a motivational speaker by any stretch of the imagination, but when things are in order and you focus on what's relevant, I think it's easy to see that Scotty's not distracted by the other stuff. It's pretty cool.
Totally.
I'm always rooting for him. That's for sure.
Me too. I mean, he's definitely one of my favorite golfers right now.
Yeah, I like him.
If not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm a big Oberg fan. I think he's super cool too.
Me too.
Anyway, quick question. What makes Scottie Scheffler so great? Anything else you'd like to add to that discussion, Robbie?
No, I think that's good.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in to the Golf Intervention Podcast. We'll be back with another full-length episode when Robbie gets back from Hilton Head on vacation. And in the meantime, hit the ball long and straight. Golf's not that hard.